Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. How long do you think we could do this for?
We're on a boat.
Motherfuckers, don't you ever forget. It's Live at the Staxy today with Steph Sabraw in the house. What? Hashtag Steph so smart. Hashtag Steph is hot. Yeah.
Steph so smart really gets me giggly.
Why? That's like your turn on?
Yeah, I want to be. Yeah, I would way rather a man tell me I'm smart than hot.
When's the last time that like you were on, we don't do dating apps, but like you were on a date or like seeing somebody and they were like, you are so smart, and that was like their pickup line to you? Never. It's just never happened to me. Let me rack my brain. Never. You guys should try that.
Usually I feel like for some reason intelligence becomes a pride thing with men.
Yeah.
And off the times I've been called smart are in a kind of like fuck you way. Like, oh, you just always try to use your intellect to bounce around conversations. So yeah, because I'm an evil genius, you bitch.
That's like sneaky and also true. I also want to let you guys know this just right at the top, just so that there's no complaints or issues. Trust me, I've tried, but today will be Steph Sabraw's last consecutive day in a row on the show. She will not be with us tomorrow. It will be hard, I know. But we will have to live a day in the life without Steph Sabraw tomorrow.
We'll just have to have like a lot of Streamlabs that happened today.
Yeah.
To make up for tomorrow's night.
But she is here today, and we already have some Streamlabs coming in that I want to get to. But before we do that, huge news day. Sometimes the news is meh. Sometimes the news just is pouring in, and it's been pouring in since last night. Nick Cannon lost his Viacom deal because of his remarks that were deemed anti-Semitic. We will be talking about that. Obviously, we've been talking about anti-Semitism a lot on this show recently, so why not keep up the good work, guys? Might as well continue it. I saw Winston Marshall tweet an article that talks about how COVID can cause male infertility, so that's another win for COVID. Way to go, COVID. Really sticking it to the man.
That's
literally
so scary to think about.
Yep. Also, Tyra Banks is now hosting Dancing with the Stars, so we will get into that. Kanye West dropped out for president, but then he didn't drop out for president, and now he's registered with something, so maybe he's still in the running.
He registered his next album he's going to drop.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll talk Kanye updates. There is an update in the Harvey Weinstein case where the federal judge rejected did we just figure out how many $1 million settlement? It was the 19 or the 17 or the $12 million settlement?
I have it written.
All right, we'll talk about the Harvey Weinstein case and why the federal judge rejected the settlement.
$19 million.
Okay, because remember it was like two different reports had two different numbers. Whatever. We'll talk about that, and then in massive news that came out like an hour before the show, Thee Stallion was shot multiple times in the foot. She's okay. And by okay, I mean alive, and went to the hospital and got the bullets removed. I guess people had thought she'd got glass in her foot, and she took to social media and explained what had happened, but didn't fully explain, but partially explained. And so we'll definitely be breaking that down as well. So all that and more here today, live at the Roxy. Every time I say that, it feels too official. All that and more.
We'll be right back after this short message.
Okay, what's the commercial for?
The commercial is for Crystal Geyser. When you realize that Arrowhead water sucks many a dicks,
all the dicks,
Crystal Geyser is the next most reasonable priced purified alpine spring water.
But what's the number one most important part about Crystal Geyser?
It's natural.
Nope.
It's by CG Roxanne.
By Roxanne. Never understood what that meant. How can water be by somebody? But this is by Roxanne.
Clearly you are. And you're a water sign.
CG Crystal Geyser Roxanne.
Yeah, this should be your water.
I have 2 ends. It only has 1 end, but still, like, totally legit. Just can't get it everywhere. But, like, Crystal Geyser for the win. See, look, we just told so many of you guys. Give us an ad sponsor. It is what it is. Morse Code Z in the super chat, sending bunnies. Thank you. Appreciate your bunnies. Sending love back to you as well. And then I did see in the Streamlabs for our first Streamlabs of the day, Glenn frickin' Caesar in the house. Hello, Roxy and Steph. I mean, what the fuck?
My gosh.
Hello, Roxy and Steph.
King amongst
sheep. Yeah, we are all sheep. Is that a sheep sound?
Bah. Or is that a goat? What is the difference between a sheep and a goat sound?
Okay, so a sheep would be black sheep, have you any wool? Right?
That's exactly.
And then a goat is like
yeah, that sounded very goat-like. The Taylor Swift. You know that song, the remix Taylor Swift song?
Are you making fun of Taylor Swift, or is this a real thing?
No, it's a real remix of one of her songs.
Don't know it. Can't say I do. So Glenn Caesar said, wishing you and the Rockstars band a sunshine and love-filled rest of your Wednesday. Sending lots of bunnies to you all. Roxy, I hope this helps you with taxes and stuff this week. Peace, love, and hugs. Majorly does, Glenn. You're incredible. My tax money came out this morning, which is exciting.
It's exciting. They left her with nothing.
Who doesn't want to? I mean, I'm amped about it. I am actually glad they took it out on time, though, because who the fuck wants to balance that shit?
Yeah, if they're going to strip you of all your extra cash, at least do it in a way that makes you not realize how much money you have in your account.
Facts.
Do it swiftly.
Chris McGovern, we're going back to the Crystal Geyser conversation, apparently. Hi, ladies. By the way, we sell Crystal Geyser in natural grocers where I work. Wow, that's dope. Love Crystal
Extra
Geyser.
Points.
Then you know that it's by CG Roxanne. Do any other waters say bye on them?
Yeah, no. Kind of sketch.
Yeah, like you wrote
Who
it?
is CG Roxanne? When you really think about it, though,
not clear. Maybe that's a location.
I'm going to do some research.
Like
I'm going to put it on my Nancy Drew.
Let us know. Also, Lloyd Nance said, Steph is hot and so are you. Fuck yeah, Lloyd Nance. Lloyd Nance gave our very first super chat ever on this show back in the day. So Lloyd Nance always has a place in my heart. Also, let's see. Mark Jason Ali in here says, hi, ladies. Sorry you aren't on the show tomorrow. Nick Cannon is a douche. Anyway, no loss of sleep over him losing Viacom deal. Sending bunnies. Take care, ladies. We will be talking all about Nick Cannon. I don't know if I agree. I don't know that I disagree, though. We will break it down.
Yeah, he's a full-bodied, complex human like the rest of us.
Yeah. David says, Roxy and Steph, 2 of the smartest, hottest ladies on YouTube. Wow.
David. Thank you so much.
What's better than being the smartest and the hottest?
Yo.
Most talented.
Yeah, there's a lot of other great adjectives, but those 2 are still pretty powerful.
What's the number 1 you want to be called? Or like said about you?
Something like bold, fire, makes me feel good, like at my best when I'm around you.
That's cool.
What about you?
Driven, I think.
Yeah, you've definitely got that down.
Like dedicated, driven, hardworking.
Yeah.
Because what do you think is more important, talent or drive?
Drive.
I think so too. I would still like to be talented, but if I think that drive is the more important one.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh, by the way, guys, we can't update you fully yet, but we had an epic World Girls meeting last night. It went really fucking well. Don't worry, we were safe and social distance.
Yeah,
but
6 feet apart.
It was excellent. And so we've definitely got some great things on the horizon for you. What was that breath in?
I was just thinking I loved Dorina so much.
Yeah, she was fucking awesome.
So good to see her, even though we couldn't hug or anything. We haven't seen her since quarantine started.
Wait, but can I say this about Dorina? I'll say all the amazing things, but here's the one really shitty thing I'll say about her. She tried my cookie cake and she literally spit it across the room. She hated it so much.
You know what? I hate to toot my own horn, but I do think I'm one of the premier testers of cookie cakes. It's one of my specialties. I love them so much, and yours is top 3 I've ever had in my life.
It's really good. I'm not just
excellent.
making that up.
Seriously.
She literally spit it out. She hated it so much.
Yeah.
It's just a cookie.
Yeah.
In the shape of a cake.
She said there must be something else in here because I usually like chocolate chip cookies.
It was so weird.
Savage.
So I'll say that about her. She didn't like my cookie.
Love her, but she looked freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, she did.
Exciting stuff
did.
About World Girls coming up, and we'll have an announcement about when our next episode will be.
Shitty taste in desserts, but pretty great girl. Lewis Cox says, yo, 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 Roxy and love Steph. You girls rock. Thank you. Send love and bunnies. Lewis Cox, well, Steph, you are fire.
Thank you.
That's what you wanted to be known as.
Thank you.
Your hair is fire, too.
Yeah, it's a little...
There it go. There it is.
The fire has extinguished a bit.
It almost looks ombre right now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it looks like it kind of just fades into that. It looks pretty cool, actually.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get into some of the news. Should we start with the Nick Cannon stuff?
Yeah.
Man. All right. So for anybody who doesn't know what happened, Nick Cannon went on his own podcast and he said some things that were deemed anti-Semitic. I say deemed anti-Semitic because really they were anti-Semitic. He said anti-Semitic things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're an anti-Semitic person. They seem to me like more ignorant comments, just like super, super fucking ignorant. But anyway, sorry, before I give my opinion, let me tell you guys, his podcast is called Cannon's Class. I've never listened to it before. I actually didn't even know he had a podcast called Cannon's Class. But he went on and said, let me see if I can find this. Okay. He was talking about who are true Hebrews. So he said he was saying that I can't find the quote about black people being true Hebrews, but that's what he said. And then when he was called out on it, he said, it's never hate speech. You can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people who they want to be. That's our birthright. We are the true Hebrews. So that's kind of a shitty thing to say. When he's saying we, he's talking about black people. I don't even understand really why or how this came out of his mouth. It's kind of confusing. And when he was asked to apologize by Viacom, he said no, and that was his response. And then once he got fired, he did apologize, which kind of reminded me of the Kevin Hart situation with the Oscars when he was like, no, I won't apologize. And then they fired him.
Yeah.
And then he did apologize. Because it's kind of like, I'm not going to apologize to keep my job. I'll apologize because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
In his apology, he said, anyone who knows me knows that I have no hate in my heart nor malice intentions. I do not condone hate speech nor the spread of hateful rhetoric. We are living in a time when it is more important than ever to promote unity and understanding. I'm an advocate for people's voices to be heard openly, fairly, and candidly. In today's conversation about anti-racism and social justice, I think we all, including myself, must continue educating one another and embrace uncomfortable conversations. It's the only way we all get better. I encourage more healthy dialogue and welcome any experts, clergy, or spokesperson to any of my platforms to hold me accountable and correct me in any statements that I've made that have been projected as negative. So I guess actually that's really not... So yeah, that was not an apology. But then I guess he later on said, truth and reconciliation, deeply saddened in a moment so close to reconciliation that the powers that be misused an important moment for us all to grow together and learn more about one another. Instead, the moment was stolen and hijacked to make an example of an outspoken black man. I'll not be bullied, silenced, or continuously oppressed by any... So this is when he wouldn't apologize. I'll not be bullied, silenced, or continuously oppressed by any organization, group, or corporation. I am disappointed that Viacom does not understand or respect the power of the Black community. And then he went on to talk about his issues with Viacom and them letting him go, essentially, and some of his own experiences. One of the things he says was, in a pleasant turn of events and the best blessing in all of this hurtful attack is the outpouring of love and support from the Jewish community. It's been amazing. I've spoken to many rabbis, clergy, professors, and coworkers who have offered their sincere help. I must apologize to my Jewish brothers and sisters for putting them in such a painful position, which was never my intention. But I know this whole situation has hurt many people, and together we will make it right. I've dedicated my daily efforts to continuing conversations to bring the Jewish community and the African American community closer together, embracing our differences and sharing our commonalities. And this continues to go on as well. It's a very long Facebook post if you guys want to read the whole thing. But I will say that, Steph, what do you think? What do you think about all this?
I think that for a lot of reasons and also just confusing reasons, when it comes to Judaism, Arabs, Africans, or Black culture, and Christianity, there's so much confusion and hostility towards like who is counted as what. And I do think it was interesting because you're like, what he said wasn't, but was anti-Semitic, because he is including himself in this group. So it's like a self-harm type of comment, but also isn't backed with logic. So I think his idea was to get across a point that just like really, really fell flat and took a lot of people with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the type that's like, if a group of people and the group of people specifically involved and targeted by this comment has a problem with it, then if you are all love, it shouldn't be that hard to just be like, my bad, I guess I missed the mark. Let me sit down and listen and then restate my statement. But he doubled down, which I guess get. And I do, but on the other side, I will say Nick Cannon has done a lot of great things in his career. I've heard from multiple women in the music industry specifically that he's one of the best people that they've ever worked with. Like when many men were like disrespectful to them, he was always like awesome. I've heard great things about him. And I do think that they're kind of setting an example out of him, but what he said was anti-Semitic.
Yeah. So there was more to it too. And it's hard to, I think a lot of websites are having a hard time reporting on the story because the podcast episode, I believe, went away. But here were some other things. This is coming from CBS News. So they say in Cannon's Hour Plus podcast, he and Griffith contend that Black people are the true Hebrews and that Jews have usurped their identity. Cannon then segues into a discussion of skin color. Quote, and I'm going to say this carefully, end quote. He begins to allege that people who lack sufficient melanin are, quote, a little less, end quote. Those without dark skin have a, quote, deficiency, end quote, that historically forced them to act out of fear and commit acts of violence to survive. Then he says they had to be savages. And then he clarified that he was referring to white people, Europeans, and Jewish people. So
he said that in the same statement?
Yeah, it was all part of this podcast conversation.
The mother of his children is very light-skinned.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he was getting heat for that. And then again, the quote that said that the true Hebrews are Black people, which is just like the point being that he's not right. Like definition wise, you can't just say that a certain group of people are the Hebrews and certain people aren't. There are Black Jews, there are white Jews, but you can't, just because you're white doesn't mean you're not a Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense. And to refer to people as savages is a really tough word. And to say you had to do things that are savage. I think a lot of groups of people have had to do savage things in order to survive. But the way that was phrased was really tough, especially with the background of Jews and Black people. There has been issues for years with different oppressed groups, and starting any kind of when you have a platform like he does, any kind of time, like if me being Jewish, I try to be so choosy and careful with my words when I'm talking about the Black community, because I know there has been issues with oppressed groups coming for one another in the past. And the Jews have been, and it's not a comparison, the Jews have had the living shit kicked out of them for a really long time, as have Black people, separately and for different reasons, but both things are true. And for Nick Cannon to come after the Jews in this way was like, what a fucking bummer. I don't know that I believe that he should have lost his job over it, though, because I think that he said something really stupid and wrong, but I don't know that he's anti-Semitic. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like there needed to be more of a follow-up that was like, what? But then for him to say that the outpouring of love and support from the Jewish community for him, I'm kind of surprised about that. I don't know really what that means. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess those are some of my thoughts.
I don't want to be hypocritical because I do like Nick Cannon, so I don't want to be like easier on him than I would of other people. So I'm trying to be careful.
I like him too.
Yeah,
or I've liked him in the past.
This is really, really bad, really, really bad, and not good statements. I will say that is a difference between people who have a platform and incite violence, like Trump, who says like when the looting starts, the shooting starts, like things like that. You should lose your platform because you are inciting violence. This is really stupid. Whereas I think if people do say stuff like this, companies like Viacom can use it as a time to teach, because if Nick Cannon's saying this, more people think this. And from what you've been saying lately, a lot of people, like there's a lot of people who don't even believe the Holocaust exists. So I do think it's kind of our duty to use it as a teaching moment as opposed to a muting moment.
Yeah. If we're ranking things, which 2020 makes us do, which we'll be talking about in the Weinstein case as well. But if we're ranking things, to me, this is below quoting Hitler. So like not as bad as that, but still not great. In terms of the anti-Semitic conversation we've had on this show this week, this is not the same as posting the words of Hitler and being like, you dig, totally, right? But this is still like, what the fuck were you trying to say? What were you trying to get at? Yeah, and then I saw an hour ago, and then I just found this on TMZ, that Diddy offered Nick Cannon a home with Revolt, which he calls a truly Black-owned network, and says, "We got your back and love you and what you have done for the culture. We are for our people first, for us, by us. Let's go." I mean, that's a tough statement too, in terms of like, I don't disagree with what he's saying. However, I think that this is what causes more separation amongst the people that are being oppressed, when you don't have each other's backs. And this goes for both ways. So
yeah, a lot of times in oppressed cultures, we don't give out fully formed dynamic sentences and like explanations. We become and refer back to like our most tribalistic state, which is like, we are with our people, and like, I hear you, I see you, come with us, which is like, of course, like having a Black-owned media company is sick and important and vital. But that statement should have looked something like, Nick Cannon, you have done so much for the culture. This is a Black-owned media company. We want your voice on it, and we also want to be learning more about how we can like be allies with Jewish people.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to talk about without feeling like you're going to put your foot in your mouth at some point. But I've liked Nick Cannon in the past. He's artistically made some strange choices. Like, what was that fucking music video?
Gigolo?
No, what was that?
Gigolo's a banger, but just let me tell you, like, erase pimp culture from your brain because it's disgusting and sex trafficking.
This year he put out a video that was like so stupid. Coming after, was it Eminem or maybe?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Whatever it was, and it was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Artistically, he makes some strange choices, but in general, I've always thought it was funny. Like, just has a really great presence and energy. I met him one time, and it seemed nothing but cool. But this sucks. And when you say something wrong and it's offensive, I wish the first thing out of people's mouths was, "I'm so sorry. Fuck that up. Really sorry. Fuck that up." here's what I was trying to say, because I'm still unclear on why were you trying to say that Black people are the true Hebrews? What were you trying to do? Because I'm missing something.
It's important nowadays when you have a platform, and anyone on all of us have a platform if you use social media, that when you're about to say a statement that you think is powerful, ask yourself why you're saying it. Like, what is the point of your statement? And then also in the same time, look to the examples of people who have foot and mouth moments like this and understand that people like Roxy, speaking for like Jewish people right now, want an apology. So like, let's learn that. If I ever do this, the first thing I'll do now I know is I'll fucking apologize.
Like, it's buried in there, but then it's more like I've spoken to rabbis, which is like kind of the equivalent of, oh, I have a friend who's Black, which is like, haven't we learned that you don't really say that? Like, well, Jewish people are supporting me and I spoke to a rabbi. Like, how about the first thing that comes out is, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to imply that you can't be white in the Hebrew. Because that's not true. So just fucking weird. And I still don't know that he should have lost his job for it. I really wish cancel culture was more of a conversation sometimes, so at least I could get what he was trying to get at. But I get why right now people are so nervous when you say things that are filled with hate, even if it's not on purpose, that companies would have a hard time with that. Because people have a hard time with that. Let's see. Lewis Cox says, man, Nick Cannon, why? Just why? Yeah, I don't really know why. I don't know why this was the statement. And by the way, I saw somebody being like, how are you relating this to quoting Hitler? This wasn't a Hitler quote. No, I was talking about the Deshaun Jackson situation with Hitler. This has nothing to do with Hitler. I'm just saying in terms of like, for ranking anti-Semitic comments, that one was worse.
Which is like a really cool thing to do.
Super cool. Super cool. Let me know what you guys think. I wanted to go over some of the quotes that they had left from the...
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do that at the end. But for now, let's move forward. Something that Winston, our dear friend of the show, said was that COVID can cause male infertility. This was an article that he posted on his Facebook that I saw, and also that COVID can be spread through sexual intercourse. This is like...
It's so not funny, but what is 2020?
Yeah.
It just said, you know what? I'm going to fuck you in every way imaginable and even transmit diseases by fucking you.
I mean, what if like people... The lasting effects of COVID are so much longer than so many things that we've had to deal with in the past. Like people not being able to breathe for several months. I mean, several months. A lot of my friends who had COVID are still having crazy, crazy issues because of it. But now this infertility one, it's not that if you get COVID, you're automatically going to be infertile. But this article was coming from KTSM.com.
Looks like an NBC News.
Yeah, affiliate. COVID-19 can cause male infertility and be transmitted sexually. Woot woot. They say that a study published last month showed that 38 COVID-19 patients, they got the semen samples of 38 COVID-19 patients and found the presence of the virus in 15% of the patients. So the presence of the COVID was in their semen. Woo woo. Yeah, yeah.
What?
I know. 15% is like a very high percentage as well. Yeah.
I mean, like, I hope no one's just like having sex with randoms right now without taking precautions. But like, what if that's your wifey who's a asymptomatic carrier?
So according to the researcher on this project, Dr. John Aitken, COVID-19's pathological impact on the tested is underscored by data that shows active cases dramatically reduce testosterone. So that's why they were talking about it causing infertility. Reduction in testosterone has a significant impact on the body's responsiveness to Leydig cells that stimulate the secretion of sex steroids. Aiken also said that this finding is to be expected because of blood testis barriers that offer little defense against viral invasion, and pathogenic viruses like HIV, hepatitis, mumps, and HPV have been linked to testis damage that cause host infertility. presence of the virus in the testes, like testicles, maybe.
Mhm.
Also, I'm calling it testis. Testes also leave the host susceptible to transmitting the disease to sexual partners. So that's how it can happen through sex. He said, quote, it should be emphasized spermatozoa have a demonstrable capacity to carry viral infections from the male to female reproductive tract, as happens during the sexual transmission of Zika, for example. So they're looking into other diseases. They're seeing how they're transmitted. They're testing to see if this is transmitted the same way. And guess what? It looks like it is often. So ew and bummer and be safe. Right?
Yeah, there's
Cool.
nothing you can do about that other than be safe. I guess you should just use condoms like usual.
Totally. Good point.
That's a bummer.
Fucking bummer. Yeah.
I thought it stopped at the lungs, but you really had to take it to the testes.
Take it to the testes. Hitman Hudson in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer says, Roxy, have you seen Kippo and the Age of Wonder Beasts? I don't even know what that is, so I don't think I've seen it. Are you excited for the singles tournament? Yes, I'm incredibly excited for the singles tournament. Personally think David Del Rio is a real sleeper. Go Rockstars. Del Rio is freaking awesome. So yes, and a bunch of yeses there. Thanks, Hitman Hudson. TVshka Productions says, Nick Cannon gave a new meaning to wild and out. Wild statement, and now he's out. In regards to Deshaun Jackson.
You got him!
Zing. In regards to Deshaun Jackson, he has repeatedly apologized. Eagle owner and GM are Jewish, and they are moving forward with him, which speaks volumes. #grace, #mercy. Yeah, I agree. I didn't think Deshaun Jackson should lose his job either, especially because he very quickly was like, wait, why was this anti-Semitic?
Yeah, there's a different... And I do think Nick Cannon needs to kind of clarify what he meant.
What were you trying to say?
Yeah, because obviously there are Black Jews, there are dark-skinned Jews, like there are Arab Jews, like it comes in all different forms.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm just curious what he like meant.
What did you mean? And yeah, Edelman has been talking with Deshaun Jackson as well, and there's been a lot of communication there. So I feel okay moving forward with somebody who said something stupid. I don't feel okay moving forward with somebody who thinks that who thinks negatively of Jewish people or calls them savages, or was that the word? Savage?
Yeah, I want to get savage out of my vocabulary in general, but Meg Thee Stallion's making that really hard for me because she says it so great.
Transition wise, let's talk about Meg Thee Stallion. I mean, whoa. I was not expecting this.
Yeah.
So Meg Thee Stallion was shot multiple times in the foot. This story came out of left field. I mean, somebody had said that she had glass in her foot and she was in the hospital because of it. And then the next thing we knew, she was clarifying and was saying that that's not what.
Because there was this whole thing
happening
with Tory Lanez. They were in the car together when some sort of incident happened. And there was talks about him getting charged with gun like things, and then she was in the car, so people didn't really know. And then it spurred into this glass, and then she went on Instagram.
Yeah, so also she didn't say who did it. That doesn't mean she doesn't know who did it, but she didn't say who did it.
Yeah.
And then she wanted to clarify because people were kind of running with the story, and she said, quote, I was never arrested. The police officers drove me to the hospital where I underwent surgery to remove the bullets. I'm incredibly grateful to be alive and that I'm expected to make a full recovery, but it was important for me to clarify the details about this traumatic night. I'm currently focused on my recovery so I can return back to my life and back to making music as soon as possible. I don't even know how you can focus on that right now. Adore Meg Thee Stallion. Feel awful that this happened. Also, Tory Lanez was arrested for having guns.
Yeah, none of the story is really complete, but how awful are people that the fact that this queen of a woman is recovering from gunshot wounds and she has to go online to explain herself because everyone has taken this into and like looped it into stories that aren't even real. So I really pray for a speedy recovery. Megan Thee Stallion does nothing but spread positivity and light and good music. So
it's also wild this happened on Sunday and today is Wednesday and this is the first we're talking about it. Like there's just so much going on in the world. But yeah, I agree with you. She's just been a source of light for a lot of people and positivity. So this fucking sucks. I don't understand who shot her, why they would shoot her, if this had more to do with Tory Lanez or what their relationship is at this point or how she feels about him or him about her. But like,
so scary because she's a dancer and like so easily could have had any of her abilities taken
shattered.
away. Yeah.
Completely.
So senseless.
Completely. And also like people have shitty aim. She was shot in the foot. Who knows what they were aiming for? This easily could have gone so much worse. So grateful that she is okay and seemingly expected to make her full recovery, but also there's definitely gonna be more about the situation that comes out because it's so fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Wow. Joseph Ashley says Kylie Jenner was with Megan Thee Stallion too. Is that true? I haven't read that.
I haven't read that either.
Let us know. I haven't seen that one time.
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all. Huh.
Okay.
Because I feel like that would be the article because people are obsessed with the Kardashians, you know?
Joseph says I saw on TMZ.
Okay.
Well,
let's do some research.
Yeah, I guess we'll look into that. Because what? And people in here saying they blame the Kardashians. I mean, I literally have no idea what happened and if they were with the Kardashians. And hopefully everybody, all the Kardashians are okay.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking imagine, especially during a fucking pandemic, being shot at. Just talk about the scariest shit. This is why I get so afraid all the time being by myself. Anything with the...
They hung out at a pool party together, but there's no actual correlation. All they know is that they were spotted at a pool party that day. There's nothing else that I see.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep you guys posted if we see more on that. If you guys have any comments that you want to be shared, don't forget streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer or the super chat. Moving forward, let's talk about Fuck Yeah news. Tyra Banks is now hosting Dancing with the Stars. I also saw that she's getting an EP credit on this. Well-deserved. Tyra, to me, is just one of the freaking greatest of all time. I mean, nobody knows how to judge better than she does. What? Are you not a Tyra person?
Some of the videos that have come out recently of her on that show have not aged well. Just because of the way they talk to some of the contestants was pretty disgusting.
She does a little bit of for lack of better words, bullying sometimes. She's got an intense way about her, as did Simon Cowell. What, you don't think so?
No, this one video of this beautiful woman who had a gap in her teeth, which I'm so glad the early 2000s are over, where like everyone's like perfect teeth or to the fucking death chamber. Like now I feel like people have natural teeth all the time. But she set up a veneer appointment for her. And the girl just didn't show up, and she ripped her to shreds. She's like, "No one's gonna book you now with your buck teeth." Like, just be like a psycho.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes you dish it the way that you took it growing up in the industry, but I just still stand Tyra. I do. I think that she is like so fucking strong and powerful and like does use her platform a lot of times to spread positivity. Her TikToks are adorable.
Yeah, she's
I know what you're talking about.
She's a powerhouse. She's consistently navigated the entertainment space in an amazing way, especially as a woman. And she's truly one of the most talented models to ever step on this earth.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, she's not only going to be hosting it, she's going to be EPing it. And I'm interested to see what this does for the show, because I feel like I haven't watched Dancing with the Stars in a minute, and they needed a little bit of new blood in there. And so that will be cool. I do feel bad for Tom, what's his name? Bergeron.
Oh, yeah.
I never know how to pronounce his last name, but I think he wanted to come back and he wasn't asked back after all this time. That happens.
It's a long gig.
Yeah, and they needed, their numbers were dipping, and they needed a little bit of new life in there. And I think Tyra gives nothing Tyra touches doesn't get new life. She brings the heat.
She's a wild child.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm excited for that and what that'll do for the show. I'll probably tune back in. Pink Sweet says, did you talk about Hayden maybe being in Obi-Wan? No, but I did see this because I talked about it on SEN today. Have you seen this yet, Seth?
Yeah.
We've talked about it before on the show. I don't know that there was any new updates, but on SEN I saw they were talking about how much he would be in the series. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Bless
Whoa.
you.
Continue.
Bless you. No, there's no updates on how much he would be in the series. The discussion is whether or not his character would be in the time frame that they're going to tell the story, which the story is still so up in the air as they're doing rewrite revisions as we speak. So we don't really know the time frame. But the discussion is if Anakin's character is involved and it's not Hayden Christensen, that would be insane.
Yeah. Agreed. I love Hayden Christensen too. So thank you for that question. I don't even know what to say about Kanye West. I don't even know if we can talk about it because the news was that he dropped out, but then apparently he didn't. Like you said, seems like album.
Seems like an album or another like Croc shoe line is coming a front.
Oh my God, the Crocs. What's this thing? I didn't even know really exactly what this was that they said that he signed that made them think that he's not actually dropping out. A FEC filing. I mean, an FEC filing so that he probably is still running. I guess we'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah.
Don't vote for Kanye. Don't write him in.
Unless you really want him as your president.
Kanye.
Yeah.
Unless you want Kanye as your president, don't vote for Kanye. Going into the super chat, John Redcorn says, ladies' favorite Frank Ocean song. I don't know.
So hard. I like, obviously, everything on Channel Orange, but
I don't know.
Nike's, Pink Ivy.
There's Steph's.
Yeah.
All right. Let's continue. And then I do want to get to some of your guys' quotes to end the show because you had some beautiful ones. Let's talk about what's going on with Harvey Weinstein. Steph, I was a little confused when I saw this. I thought it was a bad thing, but now it seems like maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing. The federal judge rejecting Harvey Weinstein's settlement with the alleged victims or survivors. Can you talk to us about this?
Yeah, so it's a $19 million settlement, and it does seem like, well, what the heck? Why would you deny that? But it involved about 100 women, and 6 main women who are holding different accusations in different trials against Harvey Weinstein have been very vocal about being against this specific trial because they think that 100 women with 100 different cases at different accounts. We have some with assault and some are charging rape. And so the judge, like the 6 women on the with other issues, thought that was crazy because there are so many levels to the crime. So the lawyers of the 6 women really, really were against it. And they have pending cases against Harvey Weinstein. And it ended up being, so it was 19 million, but with 100 women, they would have gotten such a low settlement. I want to read this quote. So the 6 women said in a Monday court filing that the settlement would only give accusers $10,000 to $20,000 and would absolve Weinstein, his brother Bob, and the former directors of the Weinstein Company. If approved, they said it would represent one of the most one-sided and unfair classes in settlement history. So although it's like, like $19 million, that would have fucked Weinstein, it would have absolved him of everything. And it was like kind of trickery by probably his defense team.
I don't know how we as a society put prices on things. This is so hard to know. Like, this is like when we were, I mean, obviously for different reasons, but when we were talking to RB3 on the show about reparations, it's like, how do you fucking put a price on how we fucked up as a society or how individuals have fucked up? How do we put on a price? Like, okay, so he locked me in a room and he jerked off into a plant, but he didn't rape me. What's that price? He did rape me and he blacklisted me from going on other shows. What's that price? Like, what's the price? Is it the price of the work that you missed out on? Is it the price of the emotional damage and trauma? Is it the price of just as society what we deem that action to be equivalent to?
Yeah.
I mean, how the fuck do you pick that? I don't envy anybody in the position to have to be like, but here's what I do know. $10,000 is nothing. I don't mean to me. Obviously, $10,000 is a fucking
nothing.
ton.
And
but if your life has been
absolves.
destroyed, $10,000 doesn't mean jack fucking shit. I don't know that any amount of money means much. But if you were like, Mira Sorvino talked about getting completely blacklisted by him and not being able to be in movies or shows or anything moving forward. She missed out on millions of dollars of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not even to mention the emotional trauma.
Yeah.
But, that's like an actual price that you could probably even try to figure
Calculate.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't want to speak like really poorly on this specific case because obviously these 100 women are so brave and powerful to come together and collectively do this as a union. And I think, like, in the beginning, when you think about it, like, the rest of us who read the case, you're like, why wouldn't that work? That's so powerful. This is 100 women. But I hope that this can be used in favor for them. And so the 100 women get individually what they deserve, and justice is served to each of them, even or in groupings of the cases, in the types of cases, or in some other way. But this seems like it only would be advantageous to Weinstein.
Ugh.
Which, like, no.
What are we doing to help him?
Burn.
Nothing. Yeah. So, by the way, guys, I'm seeing in the chat today, there seems to be a lot of tumultuousness. Really? Yeah. A lot of you guys seem to be on different sides of different things we've talked about today, and that's okay. For example, the Nick Cannon situation. It's okay that not everybody agrees that he should lose his job. It's okay that a lot of you guys think that he should lose his job. It's okay for those of you who feel that he is anti-Semitic. It's okay for those of you guys who feel that he said something out of turn but shouldn't have lost it. I don't even know where I stand on it. I don't think we need to. The second we hear news, I don't think we need to know what we think. Sometimes time will tell, and you will figure out based on somebody's next steps and actions where their heart really lies. And if you want to be upset about it, be upset. But with each other, I think just try to respect each other's opinions. That this is not a clear-cut issue. And a lot of the things that we've spoken about on the show today are not clear-cut issues. The Thee Stallion situation. Obviously, we should all feel bad for Thee Stallion, but do we really know what happened with the people that she was with? People? Now I'm confused on how many people were there. No, so obviously we don't even have all the information yet. Tyra Banks, has she said some crazy things in the past? Absolutely. Can you still enjoy her as a judge contestant? Yes, you can. So
hell yeah.
I'm watching what you guys are talking about in here, and I'm glad that you guys are so opinionated, and I think it's important to be vocal, but also know that other people are allowed to disagree with you, and that's cool. That's what the Rockstars are about. So before we do get out of here, I did want to talk about some of the quotes from yesterday's show, because what we asked was that you guys put some of your favorite quotes into the comments. So I will leave that. What should we have them do today?
Ooh.
Well, you can always comment on anything we've talked about here on today's show. But by the end, we'll tell you exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you a prompt. Before I get to the quotes, though, in the Streamlabs, a couple of things going on. Ace Money says, I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I don't think that I know a Jewish person, so forgive my ignorance. Is it correct that there is a Jewish people, specific ethnicity, and a Jewish faith, which anyone can convert to? Hashtag Steph is smart. Hashtag Roxy is driven. Hashtag. Great question. Yes. The short of that is yes. Because I am Jewish, and even if I am agnostic or atheist, I'm still Jewish, because it's not just a religion, it's a people. So I will always be Jewish no matter what my faith is, because I was born Jewish. You can't just not be Jewish if your ancestors are Jewish, which is different than Christianity. However, yes, you can convert to being Jewish. So then you are Jewish by conversion, and then that's your choice of beliefs, if that makes sense. Did I explain that okay?
Yeah.
So yes, there is both. Ace Money.
It's confusing.
Yeah, it is. Definitely it is. But yes, good question. And also, there's no need to forgive your ignorance. It's a totally fair question.
Yeah.
Mike says, not defending Nick, the savage part was about Black people being painted as non-human, but from the history, he sees the savages are white people against his people, and he counts himself as Jewish and Black. It was a lot. He thinks Jews left Black Jews behind. That's not what I gathered from what I heard. At least not fully. That's interesting that that's how you took it. I think the fact that you and I both received this information in different ways just is exactly why I feel like he needs to clarify. Because yes, and I do think that a lot of people are under the misassumption, whatever it is, that you can't be Black and Jewish, which, like, you absolutely can.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of what he was referring to.
I think he needs to clarify, because if that is what he was saying, you can easily say it's funny that oftentimes in white colonial culture, savages are depicted as dark-skinned people, natives, black people, when in reality, a lot of the atrocities done to black people were at the hands of white people. So who is the savage? That I can understand, but his quotes didn't read as that, but it could have been what he meant.
When you say that he considered himself black and Jewish, though, what I will say in regards to what you just said, Mike, and Ace Money's question earlier, you can't really just consider yourself Jewish. You kind of have to be Jewish. I've never heard Nick Cannon identify as Jewish, but either you're born Jewish or you convert to Judaism, which is an actual process. You don't just like wake up and then you're Jewish. You would have to go through conversion, which there's like multiple steps to. So if he considers himself Jewish, I don't really know what that means.
Yeah, I do think, though, we all need to be careful when we're talking about like violence that was at the hands of groups of people. Like, it is easy to be like, oh, fucking white people again, man. But it's when you're talking about like really, really violent incidents and want to claim like certain groups are savages, like I would say white supremacists are like evil, like savages. I wouldn't use that word, but I'm now signifying I'm talking about a specific group that wants to do harm and thinks that they are more important, as opposed to white people are this, Jewish people are this.
Yeah. And for people now who are speaking about Hebrews, people who consider themselves Hebrews or they are Hebrews, the only equivalent I can really think of is, you know, how when you learn about history in school and you learn that we all come from Africa, like at some point, if you trace it back far enough, the first people ever were in Africa. So we all come from Africa. That's kind of the equivalent of what people are talking about when they say children of Hebrews. I can do some more talking on that on a different show, but you're not just like that would be like me. It's almost like me calling, I don't know how to say this so that I don't fuck up, but do you get what I'm saying at all?
Kind of.
No. Well, have you never heard that? Like we all come from Africa.
Yeah.
So, that's what
Africa are like ancient parts of, I feel like the Middle East, or no, wasn't it one other in Asia?
So
both of those,
that too. But like,
yes, I have heard that though.
But I'm not African. I can't call myself African because we all come from Africa.
Yeah.
That's what, like, when you go far enough back, the Hebrew people are some of the original people.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about Hebrews, there of course were many, many dark-skinned Hebrews. So but you're not just, because here, that doesn't mean you're Black Jew.
Yes.
Those
because
are two different
your
things.
your
ancestors are Israelites.
Yes.
I know that's kind of confusing. I can explain a little more.
No, I know what you mean. Just because they're like we've originated from certain places doesn't mean you necessarily are. It could be.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that.
Yeah. All humans were created from God. C-Train.
Because I'm Arab and I'm definitely not Jewish.
Yes, and you wouldn't be.
And I have like lines to Jerusalem,
right?
But I'm not Jewish, and none of my family has ever been Jewish.
So you can't really just say like you count yourself as Jewish. You would have to, if you wanted to be Jewish, then you would have to like convert.
Yes,
and then you still wouldn't be Jewish by ethnicity. You would be Jewish by religion.
Yes.
That's kind of what I mean.
Yes.
I know the Jews make it a little complicated. Good for us.
It's hard.
Hitman Hudson
we can talk about blame the Holocaust half for that.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for making it really fucking challenging.
Made it really hard.
Hitman Hudson says, Steph, being the genius that you are, I implore you to please run for mayor of Los Angeles. Also, Roxy, do you know about the Shmominati? You were telling me about the Shmominati.
Well, okay, Andrew Guy's obviously our mutual friend.
Yeah.
And so on Twitter, I see him going on like a rant about Shmominati. And I'm obviously not that privy to Schmo
stuff. Yeah. So no, I don't know. You guys tell me what is happening with the Shmominati.
Mayor maybe in the future.
Listen, you don't know. We don't know. Steph for mayor. Ooh, write that in the comments below. Steph for mayor.
Also, I have another prompt too.
Okay.
Since we have to honor our girl, Meg Thee Stallion, the president of Hot Girl Summer.
Yes.
Write how you are still going to have a hot girl or hot boy summer, even in quarantine.
Or hot non-binary
yeah,
summer.
exactly.
Hot them summer,
hot
baby.
Hot human summer.
Yep. Love a hot human summer. Let us know. Those are great ones. There are your prompts. Steph for mayor and hot human summer. Talk to us. Going to yesterday's show, there are some quotes that came in that were really beautiful. Just to read some of them, let's talk. This one, Weston Ira always gives us interesting stuff. So Weston said, if anyone will be my disciple, they must first deny themselves. Jesus, it means be selfless. There is some brilliant words from Jesus, I will say.
Dude, my mom is super Catholic and also one of the greatest humans that's ever walked on the earth, period. But she just loves Jesus.
Yeah.
And she'll send us Jesus quotes and she's like, I know like you don't love the Bible because, you know, like the misogyny that went through it, the homophobic shit. She's like, but if you just pull out what Jesus said,
Jesus does it.
He doesn't do that.
A rising tide raises all ships. That's kind of similar to what you were talking about. JFK said that, but Noah Denman wrote it in here. Like, what's good for one is good for all. I know no one ever gets to control your love. Circa Survive said that. Jig Yoda put it in here. That's kind of an interesting one, and very fucking true. Oh, that's a tough one. This one is coming from Gregory Castillo in here. He said, gain control of your emotion and thoughts when you're trying to move forward. Otherwise, not only are you not moving forward, but you're moving backwards. That's from Tadamichi El Dragon, a telenovela I got hooked on during quarantine.
Legendary.
Great way to quote. That's a tough one, moving backward. You don't want to do that during quarantine, and a lot of us tend to. So Y2 Flax said, what we know is a drop. What we don't know is an ocean. Big one.
Facts.
Big one. Loving these guys. Such great ones. Dan Riddle, who is a character from Aaron Sorkin's first TV show, written in by Mario Bro, says, if you're good enough to come in second place, then you're good enough to be disappointed in it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess if your goal is to be, I'm okay with second place, it should never be your intention.
Yeah.
But hey, everyone has a role. I'm not going to knock the hustle. Yeah, I want to be number one, but some people don't.
This one's coming from Harriet the Spy, and Kate Van D put it in because she said it really stuck with her. You're an individual, and that makes people nervous, and it's going to keep making people nervous for the rest of your life.
Get used to making people uncomfortable.
Pretty good frickin' one, I gotta say. Selu Bonino said, there is an only way for one to be real, and is by staying positive. Yeah, I think that staying positive does help you.
Staying positive, or my new thing learned by Trevor Moawad, he's a mind expert, said that staying neutral, that's sometimes easier for people.
Neutral is
positive's really hard to get to for some people, but if you can just be neutral and not go negative, you're in the good zone.
Yeah, I completely agree. Jason Solo gave us some really good ones. This one is coming from Bonds Malone from Wu, the story of the Wu-Tang Clan. Your life, your worth, your talent is worth more than money. Agreed. Also, money's nice, though. Thank you.
Facts.
Let's see. This one, Dat Detroit dude says, okay, Steph asked, would you be a lead singer, play guitar, or drums? Leaves out bass again. Bass players never get any love. But here's their quote. Black clouds, they rain down, but they can't kill the sun. Love that.
Yeah.
That's a deep one.
Mm-hmm.
Can't kill the fucking sun.
You can't kill the sun.
I'm all about that. And there were more quotes, but loving them. If you have more, you can leave them in today too. So tons of prompts for today. Steph for mayor, Meg Thee Stallion, and so
Hot girl,
hot person
hot
summer.
human summer, yeah.
Hot human summer. It's really good. Or any more quotes. Would appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today live at the Roxy. Steph, I know that you're not here tomorrow, which is breaking my soul already.
I know.
But where can they find you in the meantime, aka before you're back on Friday? Don't know if that's true, but probably true.
Probably.
Yeah.
At Steph Sabraw.
Guys, go do it. She's so smart, so hot, and most importantly, fire. You guys can find me at Roxy Stryer. Lots of love to you, and stay safe, stay healthy, keep fighting, do what you can to have a hot human summer. I know we'll be doing that over here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow live at the Roxy, 1 p.m. Oh, we kissed at the same time. So cute.